That's your 7-day forecast. Now a special guest in studio. I'm not sure, guys, whether or not the mayor came in because he knew it was Chip Friday. I don't know.
We do have some good chips, right. That's for sure.
I was pretty excited about the chips that I saw them out there. I went, chips before 8 a.m. That's something.
This is the place you want to be, right? Yeah. Exactly.
We are in the last weekend before Calgary is set to make a major decision on our Olympic bid. So Tuesday is the plebiscite, so we need to make a choice, yes or no, on pursuing a bid for 2026. So Mayor Naheed Nenshi joins us this morning to provide us with the City Hall perspective on the deal. And Mr. Mayor, thanks for coming in this morning. You've been pretty clear lately that you think this is a good idea.
Yeah, you know, I've been working on this project with so many people in the community for so many months, years, in fact. But I've always said that I'm less pro-Olympics than I am pro-Calgary and pro a good deal for Calgary. And all that messiness 2 weeks ago, I don't think anybody wanted that. But in the end, I had to kind of put all that in a drawer, put all the history and all the emotion aside and say, does this make sense for Calgary? Is this a good deal for Calgary? Ultimately, when I look at the financial deal, when I look at how the BidCo has managed the risk, and when I look at the benefits for Calgary, I think it's a good deal. And so I'm going to be voting yes on Tuesday, and I'm encouraging other people to do that as well.
Okay. The one thing that has come up is this idea of the cost overruns. Because when we heard that the province and the feds were not going to help us out if there were any cost overruns, that sparked a lot of concern. What do you say about that?
So this is a really critical point to understand, is that the way we've structured this bid, it's the first ever bid in history that is what's called Agenda 2020 compliant, which is a bunch of jargon for it's a very different kind of Olympics. And so I, too, am worried about cost overrun. Every single major capital project that has been undertaken by the city since I've been mayor has come in on time and on or under budget, including the library, by the way, $10 million under budget. So we're very good project managers. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to bake that in to the budget from the very beginning. So in the $5 billion budget, there's $1 billion of contingencies. There are also a number of insurance policies to protect against cost overrun. So in order to even get to cost overruns, you'd have to burn through $1 billion and blow through all these insurance policies before you even got there, which is very unlikely, particularly because the other interesting thing about this bid is we're not building a lot of new stuff. And every Olympics Games since the 2000s, the actual running of the games breaks even or makes money. There's never cost overruns. Where you see the cost overruns is on the stuff you build. If you're building a new LRT or building a new highway, as they did in Vancouver, we're not really doing much of that. We're building a field house and some ice facilities. So the possibility is very, very low, with one exception, and that exception is security.
Right.
Because, you know, if there's a terrorist attack, God forbid, or if Canada is at war, God forbid, then the federal government will have to think hard about that. But you know what? They'd have to think about that regardless. You know, if something horrible happened before the Grey Cup in 2 weeks in Edmonton, the federal government would have to deal with it and beef up security. And they've agreed that they will do that.
I'm curious about your thoughts. A lot of people are saying, well, okay, we're not building brand new venues here, but we're also going to rely on other communities. We may look as far as Whistler. So if that's the case, this is not going to be a very Calgary Olympics.
No, there's just that one thing. So remember, ski jumping is the smallest sport in the Winter Games. In all of Canada, there is one carded athlete in ski jumping. And so it didn't make a ton of sense to build a new ski jumping tower in Calgary when there is already one just over in Whistler. That's fewer than 100 athletes in that one sport, and that's the only one that would be anywhere outside of Calgary in the Bow Valley corridor.
Okay, there you go. Well, time is almost up, so give us your sort of last-minute pitch on why you think this is a great deal for the city.
We put in $400 million. We get $4 billion in cash and investments in the city, 10-to-1 ratio. It's money that we pay in our taxes to the federal and provincial governments anyway, and now they get a chance to invest in Calgary. But as my mom always used to say to my dad when he came back from the store, honey, it doesn't matter if it was on sale if we didn't need it.
Right.
And I think that the benefits of the deal are really big. When you think about the benefit to sport, you know, in Calgary in '88, we had a rare distinction. The second only host country in history that didn't win a gold medal at a games it hosted. The first country was also Canada, Montreal, 1976. And, of course, we've changed that. In Pyeongchang, record 29 medals, 23 of them from athletes who trained or had connections to Calgary. So when you think about kids in these sports, when you think about the field house and the soccer and the track and field facilities that we'll be getting so parents don't have to schlep around, and when you think of the financial benefits to the city, and when you think about the brand value of the city, 31 Super Bowls worth of coverage in one Olympics Games. that really adds up to a real package of benefits at a very low cost with very little risk. And to me, we dream big here. When we opened that library, I thought about how big we dream. Here's a chance to dream big with very little risk and really get some benefits for Calgary.
Right. Terrific. Thank you very much for being here, Mayor
Thank
Nenshi.
you.
We're going to go for a break here on Breakfast Television. When we come back, news, weather, and traffic. Stay with us.